And they still haven't fixed over a mansion house yet. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the Lost Ronda video that Steve Blauis and Willie Woods put together a few years ago, I had several of my shots in there. And one of the most fascinating parts of that video, to me, was the story about how they managed to get a foothold back into Ronda again after all this was abandoned, torn down, or closed up and boarded up. And that was, this became like, in a relatively short period of time, a great spot for shopping, for restaurants, and it took the pioneering spirit of a few people, like Frank Simpson and some of them, to get it going, and they were all alone at the time when they first did it. But what a good thing for us they did. This is Lawrence Street up on the top, off Delaware Avenue. The houses on Cottage Row are starting to come down, and the houses on Lawrence Street are already down. This is just the curve of Lawrence Street. You're standing right in the middle of the arterial. You see they're busting everything right now. Now here's an interesting shot. They've taken the trees and stuff down along Hosbrook Avenue and started to do some earthwork. And this is taken from the railroad, looking out across the cut where the highway is going to be. The highway is going to just wipe this right out. They're going to take the railroad. They're going to take everything here. They're going to put a bridge across the arterial for the railroad, and they're going to put another one there for Delaware Avenue. The bridge with the railroad has never felt the weight of a train from the time it was built, because the railroad abandoned just about the time that the bridge was built. Of course, they built the bridge with the thought in mind that, well, the railroad's going to start up again, because this has happened before, fits and spurts, the cement plant and so forth, and it never started up again. The very last train that went down that hill was in November of 1977. This gives you an idea of the brinkmanship of dates involved here. The last train went down 1977 in November. These pictures here are taken in 79. And they're just starting to, well, they're obviously committed to building a bridge. Because it was a short line that was supposed to take over the line to the cement plant. They never ran a train. They bought a couple of engines, and they never ran a train. And the cement plant closed down, and it stayed closed down. And here's the Delaware Avenue tunnel, or Hosbrook Avenue. They crossed to the top of it. And you can see where Curly's Tavern used to be, and the tracks are about to come out. Everything you see here is gone today.
Isn't that the bike lane, that new bike path?
What's that?
That new bike path.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Now you can see some major earthwork. This is like even bigger than what happened over in Slatesburg. And the house on there at the top is one of the big houses at the far end, or what became the far end, of Highland Avenue. And there's a cul-de-sac here up at that house, and that's Highland Avenue goes up in there, and then that's the end of it. You just have to turn around. But you can see that quite a drop off there. That house up there, that's just over from that. And the trees and everything now today are so dense up there, you can't even see these houses. I'm not even sure if they're still there. I would assume they're there. They stayed through the highways being open. But you see the cuts are starting to be made now. Once again, looking over towards the railroad, this becomes very, very much changed. And looking up towards the north, the cut is starting to be made. You can see the level of it being right above those cars there. What a huge job. see the cement plant is evidently still going. You see that white plume of smoke in the distance on the left-hand side? That's from the cement plant. I don't know exactly what they use for fuel or how it worked interplayed with the railroad, but the railroad did quit a couple of years ago. I don't know whether they trucked things in or what they did. But they used to close that land. They had a rock slide out there on Steep Rocks Road back in the 70s, early 70s, and the line was closed for 2 years. But they still kept going with the cement plant.
Cement plant was that north of the Hardwood Brickyard?
Yeah.
East
Yeah.
Kingston.
Just north of there, yeah.
Yeah,
And this is back in Portland again, it's been over on these. And big changes here in front of Shooks. So we skip around quite a lot, but it's basically this, to keep things in chronology. Obviously on Sunday, in the middle of the big cut. These exit ramps and entrance ramps for the Delaware Avenue area had immense cuts in themselves. Now this is what remained at the time, and there's still some of it left today, of what was known as Dinky's Pond, over off of Lawrence Street and Delaware Avenue. And it was a great pond for skating. We skated all the time over there. It was one of the more well-known skating ponds. And the remains of the road that went past it is right there where those fence posts stay, right by that rock drill. And there's a rock drill there they're drilling out. And it's more of Dinky's Pond. From basically from the same spot, you're just looking around. And we open up these immense land. There we go. There's the part of the Dinky's Pond facilities. The Kingston Parks Department ran that. You see the rock drills up on the hill. It's still there yet. Wow, what's left? There, our skating. This is looking from the top of Highland Avenue. You saw that house up on the top of the hill there. This is looking down on it. I don't even know what the view is like today, but I haven't been up there in 20 years. So it might be all grown up. I would imagine it is grown up because when you're down on the highway looking up at it, you can't see the house again. What an immense amount of wood was used in forms for these things. I didn't get much of a chance to get shots with the forms in Rondout. I'm not sure, I don't recall why, but I did a lot better job on getting wood forms that made these concrete abutments on these particular bridges here in Delaware Avenue. This is quite an operation. The only thing I can remember in the Kingston area that was as big as this in my lifetime was when they built the Thruway. When they built the Thruway, of course that was, needless to say, enormous. And it was just, a huge, huge project. It touched everything around here. And there was a lot of bridge work like this here. Of course, things like the Rondout, or not the Rondout, but the Hudson River Bridge, the Rhinecliff Bridge, the one that was my nemesis on my trip today, was, that was a big project too, but it was much more remote than something like this. You couldn't get here, and other than just seeing the distance, you couldn't do a photo study, say like this, on something like that. And we're all lined up, obviously it's Sunday. And this is during the week, we're starting to work. They're about ready to take the railroad out. Now they're putting in this is not the railroad bridge, this is the highway bridge for Delaware Avenue. And once again, they're bringing these beams in. Just seeing those beams on those trailers, I can remember the traffic jams that used to cause. Oh man. beside that hill they created there around the exit ramp. That's the old Delaware Avenue crossing sign for the. See, if you keep old stuff in with your pictures, you can kind of get a little relativity as far as how this all came about and how it relates to what was there today and what was there before anything was started. And the railroad's still in. But as you can see, they've already started to do some concrete work for the railroad bridge. Like right here. Now that's railroad iron for the railroad bridge. Here, the railroad bridge is getting in, and that's right. They took the tracks out afterwards. But it wasn't too hard a job to just straighten that up and bring them through. Amazingly, they kept all, they were so careful to keep the tracks in there. They never ran a train. There was a train on it, and then there was a train on that bridge. Now we're coming fast forward to everything getting painted. The rails are being put up on the highway bridge. Now we're starting to identify with things of today versus concrete going down. It's the cut. Some view they had. And highlight that. The exit ramp to Delaware. So those houses are still there. The highway just, or the road just doglegs in front of them. This is the bridge out by Lincoln Street. But I basically ignored this area. I didn't do the coverage that I did other, but this was, fascinating stuff with all the interplay of bridges and the views and everything else. Made for much better photography. That's my son, who is now 42 years old. Pretty much done now. We got the signs up and everything. And the view from up by Lincoln Street heading out towards Route 32. Actually, the two lanes have spread for 32. You're almost to 32 there. That's closed in quite a lot compared to what it was. Let's figure this was 1981. You could have a lot of fun photographing something like this because it was, interesting to to get composition and for lighting and everything else. And if you had a little time to work with it, it was really a fascinating thing to do. And to sharpen your photo abilities and composition along with it, man. That's it. That's my show.
My husband would have loved to have seen it. He grew up in Slanksburg with the Sickles.
Well,
I remember watching it go in, and you know, I was a little kid, and I really dislike it.
yeah,
You know, it still feels to me very out of place
yeah.
to have that big of a highway,
Mhm.
and then to have it bottleneck into a little town